Hello, good morning, good evening, or whenever you're watching this podcast. Uh, Today's episode, because I don't have any like specific topics I really want to talk about. It's another one of what I've been thinking about lately. It's really gonna be about how my weeks or what I've been doing. Um, Basically, I just really just be want to talk about stuff. And that's what these kind of what I've been thinking about, how I've been feeling lately are. And so for today's episode, I want to talk about just God, being a Christian stuff. Because one of my things that I've been doing ever since. I'm trying to think, when did I start doing this? I don't know, sometime during the summer. Was I wanted to just read the Bible completely from front to back because I've never just read the Bible chronologically completely. You know, being a Christian all my life, well, not all my life, but like since I was 11, like I've read the Bible, but I've never just read the Bible chronologically from Genesis to Revelation. So that's what I'm doing. And I would say recently, since the last like 2 weeks, um, I've been getting back into just doing that. Because before that, I was just so busy, I just didn't have time. When I say I did it, it's not just because I didn't want to. It's literally because on my days off, I would just sleep because I was just that exhausted. But since I'm not gonna be working my job pretty soon anyway, like I'll be quitting pretty soon. So now I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't gotta worry about that. And it's just my mindset's kind of changed. I've been went back. So I recently read all of First Samuel, really on accident, because I was on the chapter I was on. I don't know if it was chapter 7, but basically it was David versus Goliath. And then after that, I just read all of it by accident because usually what I like to do is read like a couple chapters on a time, marinate on it, pray about it, really get some insight, look up things, look up Hebrew words, concordant stuff, do some stuff. But I don't know, I really just was really interested. So I read all of First Samuel. I was like, bruh, this joint was good. And now I just stopped. I'm on Second Samuel chapter 2. But like I've been reading the Old Testament, like I said, a lot, and just the Old Testament be crazy. Cause even back in Exodus, when the Israelites were hard headed and Moses, first of all, Moses really was down for his people because he really told God, if you can't forgive them sins, he said, put it on me and send me to hell. He literally said that. Look that up. He literally basically was going to go to hell for the Israelites, which is crazy after all the stuff the Israelites did and how they was talking bad about him and stuff. It's just crazy how much Moses really was down. God was gonna wipe out Israel so many times during Exodus, and Moses would just literally big up God, but God, didn't you promise Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that you would make them a nation? You're the God of gods. If you do that, the Egyptians are gonna be like, oh, their God wasn't really that powerful. They just brought them all to the wilderness just for them to die. We can't be having he really was big up in God and basically being like, hey, bro, remember you promised, and you the God, you the God of God, the Lord of Lord. You don't break promises. So, but reading all of First Samuel, I'm just like, bro, my man David was going through it. Cause Saul was on some weird energy, bruh, and it all started when they started making that song where they said, David kills tens of thousands because they were fighting against the Philistines, and Saul kills only thousands. My man got super jealous because the Spirit of the Lord had already departed from him and had been on David. But I'm just like, he was on some weird energy after that. When the Spirit came and distressed Saul, and basically David came to play his harp and stuff, and Saul threw a javelin at him, that happened 3 times. Cause after the first time, I'd have been like, nah, I'm done, bro. I'm good. You got this. I'm not coming back and singing and playing for the king. He did that 3 times, and each time Saul tried to kill that man and throw a javelin at him. I'm like, bro, this man was tripping, bro. And then him and Jonathan became really best friends, which was really cool. And I felt bad for Jonathan because even Jonathan, when he was, trying to kill David, even Jonathan was just because they basically scheduled a dinner, and Jonathan basically told David, look, bro, he basically was like, I'll send this messenger, and if he shoots the arrows at you, it's safe to come back, but if it's not, basically leave. And basically, like, when they're having a dinner eating, Jonathan was like, guys all like, Dad, like, why are you tripping? David's never done anything against you, bro. Why are you tripping? Like, he threw a javelin at his own son. I was like, bro, you are tripping. Then Saul killed like 80 priests when he was looking for David, because they thought he was like conspiring against them. So he basically like had 80 like these priests just killed. I was like, bro, this man was wildly tripping for no reason, really, because David never did anything to Saul ever. And this man still was just like, nah, I gotta get rid of him. I was just like, bro, you are tripping, bro. And it was to the point that when David was fleeing, because he was always running away from Saul, and like he met him, he was like, David was like, what is wrong with you? Why does a king pursue a dead dog? He said, what business does a king have pursuing a flea? Like, what? Leave me alone, bro. He was like, David and 600 men. He was just like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not doing anything against you, and you just want to kill me just because like you just jealous and you hate me, bro. I don't get it. That man was tripping wild. Like, David was living with the Philistines for like a year and a half. Mind you, the children of Israel, like, the Philistines were the enemy, and this man was so good. This is why that verse where it talks about, like, if you really serious about God, basically be so blameless and righteous that your enemies have nothing to say against you. Like, that's was the Philistines with David, where he was, I forgot which king he was hanging out with, but I remember they were going to go to war, and that king, he was with the Philistine king, and the other Philistines was like, isn't that David who be killing the Philistines and killed Goliath and stuff? He said, why is he with it? Nah, send him back home, bruh. And David was like, why? Like, I ain't do anything. He was like, yeah, I know, but you gotta go back home, bruh. And like, to the point, like, it was just wild. And then like, I remember the one joint I was reading that was interesting. It's like, can they just give wives back? Because I noticed that like with Samson and his original wife, the king took his wife back. And then that's when he went and slept with a harlot, and he actually went to Delilah. And the same thing with David, when he was going to get Saul's oldest daughter, he offered, but he didn't want her. And then there was another one, I think her name was Michael. I don't know if he says like Michal, but anyway, she really liked David, married her. Then when David was fleeing, you find out like basically Saul took his daughter back and gave her to somebody else. I was like, you could just do that? You could just be like, you know what? Nah, you're not David's wife anymore. Now you're this person's wife. Yeah, we're taking you back. I was like, you could just do that. I was like, refund. You're no longer this person's wife. I'm just like, bro, that's what really, they was out here wilding, bro, in the Old Testament, which is crazy to me. But yeah, like, it was just also crazy how David got his other wife, because I forgot, basically his men I forgot where they were walking to up this mountain. Basically that it was the dude whose name I cannot remember off the life of me right now. But basically they wanted some like food and shelter, and the basically dude wasn't going to give it. So he was going to go up there and basically murder old dude. And his wife basically came. It was like, have mercy on us. Because everybody pretty much throughout like the land of Israel knew David, because that man was that famous of like killing Goliath and like all that stuff, and like how he was just a really good man. But basically she gave him food and stuff, and so he didn't murder him. And basically the lady went back to her husband, whose dude was like married, having, and basically the Lord just killed him. Like, he just died, like his heart failed, he just died. And eventually, literally, David was like, all right, bro, you want to become my wife? She was like, all right. And I was like, yo, that's how he got his second, well, I guess his first wife, but his second wife. He got married again, and I was just like, bro, that's crazy. Then he ended up getting another wife. It was just wild. And then like, I felt bad for my man. So when Samuel died, which was crazy, Saul was so distressed. Like, he had basically a seance and a spirit contactor basically contact him, and basically he was like, Samuel, we don't know what we're gonna do against the Philistines. And Samuel was like, bro, don't worry about that, because you and your sons are going to join me tomorrow anyway. Y'all all going to die, so who cares? Because it was crazy when he got, because he was always going up to bothering Samuel whenever he would mess up. Like when he defeated one Philistine nation or whatever, and they said don't take anything, and he took like a lot of the clothing and stuff, and Samuel was like, and he took the king captive, and Samuel was like, what, didn't I tell you not to do that? And he had to kill the king. He was like, you know what, now you're gonna be cursed. And he was like, no, Samuel, forgive me, pray to the Lord for me. Samuel was like, no, I'm not doing that. But it's just funny that when they summoned him, Samuel was like, bro, you can never let me sleep in peace, huh? You always bothering me. And so when he told him, like, what are you gonna do? He said, don't worry about it, because you and your son's gonna die anyway. So, and I felt like, dang, I felt sorry for Jonathan. And they went to that battle, and Saul and all his sons died. Well, his sons all got killed, and then Saul basically fell on his sword because he wanted his servant to kill him. He didn't want to do it, so he fell on his sword. But it was just like, dang, I felt sorry for Jonathan. But it was kind of cool how David and Jonathan made that oath that's like, we'll always be for each other, and even my descendants or whatever, which, because like I said, I've read a lot of the Bible, I know how that plays a part later with Jonathan's son, but like, yeah, just seeing that was really cool. But like, yeah, just reading the Old Testament, like I said, 2 Samuel, like I said, David was going through it. That man was hiding in caves when Saul came to find him, and he could have like handling his business, which I guess was using the bathroom. He could have killed him, and he didn't. And then he told Saul, like, and Saul was like, "You're right, you haven't done anything." And then he promised not to kill him. And then like his company around him was like, "Yeah, we should go after David again." And then he tried to go after David again. David was like, "Bro, why are you always after me, bro? Leave me alone." And I was just like, yeah, that man, like I said, Saul was on some weird energy. It was crazy. But yeah, that's how I've been reading 2 Samuel. And then the other thing I've been like kind of doing is like, I've been listening to a song by Unspoken called "The Light That Never Fades." And it just basically talks about like how like the song opens up like, one day the sun's going to set in the west for the last time. One day we're going to, earn a dollar that we spend for the last time. Basically just talking about how one day like all this world's going to fade and we're just going to be in heaven with Jesus. And it just be making me think about the goodness and grace of God. Cause I'm just like, man, really nothing on this earth really matter like that. Like, and like all this stuff I be worried about, like money and my car and all that, like ultimately at the end of the day, that don't really matter. Like really what really matters is getting people saved, talking to people about Jesus. Because I've been lately talking about coworkers, because I found out some of my coworkers are Christians. I would say one of them is kind of like a baby Christian sort of, but just talking about, I like talking about, I was like, bro, I really like talking about Jesus and God and like the Bible and like understanding the word. And like, it's not always easy to live everything out and do everything, but that's why I was trying to be an example. Because even one of my coworkers said that she was talking about how like she said, yeah, I can tell you like you're a real man of God, like how you carry yourself, how you act. She said, and that's why I be trying to tailor my behavior, like I don't be trying to cuss as much around you and stuff. And that was really a testimony of God, because that don't really got nothing to do with me as much as it do with God. But like, yeah, I just try to like be my best and be an example to Jesus Christ. So, but yeah, listen to that song, because I've been listening to that song a couple of days driving to work, and then just seeing like the scenery and like the sun and the clouds and stuff, and I'd be like, man, it really be putting me in a peaceful mood, because like I said, like everything ain't right. Like I said, I'm about to not be employed for the next like 2 weeks essentially and look for another job. Luckily, I just got my car fixed, so there's that. But I'm just like, I don't know, I'm kind of like at peace, just like being like, yeah, I'd like to have money, and I'd like to work at a job that's not chaos. But ultimately God got me, bro. It's weird. This is one of the few jobs where, this is actually the only job where I felt convicted for not wanting to quit. Because like I basically had made up my mind I was going to quit, and then I was kind of like, well, maybe I shouldn't. And like every time the Holy Spirit was like, so you don't trust me? You don't know how much stuff has I provided for you? How many times I've provided you got you another job? You don't trust me? Like every time I thought about maybe just staying a little bit longer, the Holy Spirit would convict me. I was like, okay, yeah, I know I'm supposed to quit, which usually doesn't happen, because every other job I've quit, I've either quit because of my emotions or whatever circumstances, like health reasons. So I was like, I gotta quit. But this is the only one where it's just like, nah, the Holy Spirit's like, nah, it's time to go. And now, especially the last week that I've been in my job, I see everything's kind of unfolding, all this chaos and all. So, oh yeah, I think I definitely put in my 2 weeks at the right time. But yeah, just, I don't know, listening to that song. It's a really good song. Y'all should go check it out. Like I said, it's called Unspoken, The Light That Never Fades. Like, it really puts it in perspective, like, just how much really a lot of stuff on this earth don't matter. Like, and it really made me think, like, bro, I can't wait to be up in heaven praising and worshiping Jesus, bro. I don't gotta deal with no pain. I don't gotta worry about no money. I don't gotta worry about no bills, where I'm gonna sleep. I just get to have constant fellowship with Jesus and other believers in community. And like, that's what I really be thinking about, because I still don't have a church community yet. Like, I really can't just wait to just be in fellowship with like other believers, Jesus Christ, worshiping God, and just having a great time in heaven. So that's really what like I said, that's been on my mind and what I've been thinking about this week, is just, like I said, worshiping God, trying to, like, I just been kind of content and having peace and being like, God got me, bro. Because like I really feel like there's a lot of issues and stuff going on. I was like, bro, I just don't care about that right now. Like, I'm just at this move. I'm like, bro, the only thing I really want to do is read my Bible, study the word, praise Jesus, worship God, and like do what I gotta do. Like, there's just a lot of issues, because even my dad was talking about, oh, you could have fixed your car for this, but I was like, bro, I don't even care about none of that, bro. Like, oh, you gotta get a job, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, because I save money, so I got enough money to at least like look for a job for the next like couple of months because I don't have a lot of bills to be paying. So, and since I live with my parents, I'm gonna use that advantage while I have it. I'm just like, yeah, bro. I'm really trying to focus on God and do what He tells me to do. And like I said, like I like doing this podcast stuff and talking about life and talking about stuff and encouraging people. So, that's something else I also like doing. But yeah, man, like that's it. That's really how my week's been and how a couple of weeks has been going. Yeah, just here to encourage you. Like I said, focus on God. Focus on do what you gotta do. Don't be so much stressed about everything all the time, especially if God's proven Himself to you in the past. It's a lot easier said than done, but I'm telling you, it makes you not have to worry about as much, which I know in the last year when I was shutting, I had a lot of anxiety. So, knowing God has me, like I said, I don't know, I feel a lot more. And then the fact that God's like, because when I was going through my isolation season, it was a lot harder to hear God, but now I'm hearing Him, the Holy Spirit, more clearly. And I was like, man, I like that. And then I always notice when I'm reading my Bible and really praying and worshiping God, it's a lot easier to hear Him too. So, yeah, that's all. Like I said, this one was a little bit longer, but yeah, that's all I want to say. Hope y'all have a good rest of your day or evening or whatever you listen to this, and peace out.